What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Road to Results podcast, where we're all about uncovering the mindset journey. Ray, go ahead and put a 5 up. I'm going to put a 5 up. And that is exactly how many episodes we have recorded for the podcast, not including the bonus episode. So 10 recorded, and we have about almost 8 or 9 bonus episodes from Phenomenal Life. So yeah,
Double
we're
dip.
excited to double dip. So we are excited to be with y'all, and thank y'all for rocking with us. If this is your first time checking out a video, just know that for the next 52 weeks, we're going to be uncovering the mindset journey under the leadership of Eric Thomas and Associates, ET the Hip Hop Preacher in the UOU Mastermind, as the catapult and the Kickstarter to what the road to results is going to look like. So that doesn't mean we're ending after 52. That's just the start. That's chapter 1. That's going to be the first. That's chapter 1 to what we are about to do. What's going on, Ray? How you been, bro? So you got the new background back there.
Oh yeah, hey man, constant improvements, man. I always be able to adjust. So the sign that I had before, that was the initial inception of what I thought the business was going to be. Went in I don't want to say completely different direction, but that is not it anymore. So what you're seeing back there is some of that soundproofing. So I'm starting to get it to go up so that we're not echoing like we were a few episodes back. But yeah, constant improvement, trying to improve the area, trying to improve our practice, my practice, but also the quality of content that we deliver our audience. So, but other than that, man, last week of school for my baby girl. So now I'm looking at, okay, what are we going to do to keep all that energy entertained for the next
hey, in one of the
12
episodes,
weeks?
you had the pool in the background. So that definitely, I don't know about you, but whenever I go swimming, even as an adult, I get tired. I like to take naps after that. But the problem is after I wake up, I want to get going again. So, so yeah. Oh, just like we did in Mexico, we was in pool, got up, took a little nap, got back up, and was up all night. So,
Bro, I
yeah, that's
didn't nap one time
crazy.
while we were in Mexico. I didn't nap one time while we were in Mexico.
You did it,
No.
pilot.
No, the
Pilot.
moment I was up, that was it until it was time to go down. Like that
Time
was,
go down. True pilot
yep.
fashion. True pilot fashion. Now, so Vea's what? What grade is she in now? Then, yeah.
She will be completing the third grade. Third grade. So she's
Beautiful.
got a little bit of a break from practice too. She's a gymnast. If I haven't mentioned that before. So she's got a little bit of a break between when we're done and but it's like a week and a half. So she kicks practice back off for the next season, like a whole half of a month, after school ends.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah. So I know that yesterday we had relationship, our relationship session with ET, and we were talking about circles. We were talking about all the different circles. It was your acquaintance circle. It was what was the middle circle?
So it's your outlier. It's not. Let's not guesstimate this. We'll go ahead and bring out my notes. So we had our outer circle,
Outer circle. I was going to
our
say outlier, but that's
allies.
10,000 hours. I was like, hold on. So, okay.
Yeah.
Allies in the middle.
Our outer circle, our allies. I'm glad you said 10,000 hours. So I'll say something about that in a minute. And our fave 5, and then you. It's got to start with you.
Ooh, the core.
UOU.
Yeah. No. So again, for our listeners, just to kind of put things into context, we were like you 150 in your outer circle, about 15, 20 in your allies, your fab 5 or your fave 5, and then you at the core of all of that. And I loved how we were going through different exercises, just really looking at the people in our lives and who we spend the most time with. And I think for me, what really unlocked my mindset yesterday, and me and Danielle, as we were watching it we were in North Carolina. Yeah, we were at the Biltmore yesterday in Asheville. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. But what we took away from that was when E was like, yo, you have your Fab Five business, and then you have your Fab Five friends and family.
Yeah.
And going into it, most people will just look at it as like, who are my inner circle, and kind of put them in everything, like in your business, personal, in your business and your personal life. So I think that was a little bit of an unlock for me because it didn't limit myself. And I think even he was talking about how he's trying to learn Spanish. So he's gonna need a Fab Five even for Spanish. So just thinking about, and again specifically the business is what we were focusing on. It was like, who are your Fab Five in your business? And you have a mutual relationship. And he talked about the different types of relationships: mutualism, commensalism, parasitism, and just the give and the takers, right? The givers, the
Look at you
takers.
remembering all the words. I
Come
was
on,
like,
bro. You know how we
hey,
do
hey,
it.
for me, it's like it's either like it's mutual or it's not.
That's it. Hey, Danielle said
Parasites.
the same thing. Danielle was like, when she was reading through it, man, see y'all pilots, I tell y'all so direct. Okay. If you don't know what your personality style is, y'all, and you're listening to this, discoverythis.com. All right, I got some content there for you. But for sure, understand your personality style. Cause while he was going through it, she was like, why would you want anything else? I just want mutual relationships. That's it. Everything else don't matter. I was like, I looked at her like, okay, babe. Look, just like you, bro.
There it
So
is.
yeah, man.
There it
So
is.
yeah, so it was a good exercise, a good opportunity. And just full transparency, right? A lot of folks were like, I don't even have five.
Yeah.
I don't even, or I need a new five.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about the mastermind that I appreciated was like he was like, put us on your five. Me, CJ, Tyrus, for now, until we find the people you need
Three
in
to
your
5 hours.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that?
I mean, one of it. You think about. I just think on a day to day without actually being intentional behind it. Like, there's people that I can talk to about certain things, but I wouldn't put them in a category. So, like, specifically identifying people that are in your business circle of whether they are within your Fab Five or your allies even, and then your personal circle. So when we talk about family, I think a lot of us have that, especially when you're getting started out. So ideally, a lot of people that are watching this, like you're on your document journey, but you're also applying some of the information. As you start realizing that you want to step into a business relationship, sometimes the best answer, I would say most of the time, the best answer is not to mix the two, to mix your personal relationship and your business relationships, because then it's hard to separate those. Now, I'm not saying you can't, but you have to be very distinct on how you're going to do it. So, just to get like an example, like if you are in this where there's issues in this, when a couple starts a business together, how do you differentiate about when we're being romantic in that relationship and when we're being in business in a business relationship? So I've heard it before. It's like if you do that, okay, when you're at home, there needs to be a very specific area of which you discuss business. If you are not in that area, that room, do not do it. If you're at the dinner table and you got some business to talk about, if it's that important, you need to stop what you're doing, go to that area, talk business. The moment you leave that area, stop, so that you're not muddy and feeling like you're just a roommate with your business partner. But understand when you start identifying who those people are, if there is a little bit of an overlap, you know that I need to be very specific and deliberate and intentional about when each relationship is. We talk about code switching. Same thing,
Mm,
you talk about understanding your personality type. Okay, this personality type, business wise, because you have your natural and your adaptive. Again, if you don't know this terminology, discoverythis.com. But if you're naturally very emotional, but at business you adaptive and you're very fact driven,
mm,
what happens when you're at home and you code switch and the other person's not, they didn't code switch with you. Now
yeah.
we got issues.
We
Yeah.
do.
So,
We do.
so I
No.
mean, yeah.
That's facts.
Yeah.
And just to even add on to that, so for our listeners, right, the two words that came up for me as you were sharing that was managing, well, not two words, but two ideas were managing the expectations and boundaries. So
Yep.
like with Danielle and I, as we are growing and now she has her, I mean, she's always had her own business as an esthetician, doing her own work. And I had, my own business. But now that she's really
Bro,
picking
you
up
weren't doing
delivery,
facials?
no, she was doing facials.
You wasn't doing
she,
facials with her?
nah, I was just a
She's over
test
there doing
dummy.
a facial and you just doing foot massage?
You feel me? No, no, not even that, bro. I don't even do feel like that. but but no, like I remember we would get to the point where like, yeah, when do we talk about business? and when do we not talk about business, because again, it's about that relationship and keeping it firm. And so we really had to set boundaries. So for us, our boundaries look like, okay, on certain days at certain times we'll talk about finances and money, business for business, and then on other days we'll talk about finances and money in the personal, right? And so like you said, like for us, we have the non-negotiables when we're talking business, when we're not. And then like we kind of have our own, not necessarily code words, but you know what y'all use in the military, we're like, it's like that word, or that look that's like, yo, we ain't doing that. Like the kid, not a kill
Yeah.
switch. What is it called? You know what I'm talking about? Like
Uh-huh.
when there's a signal of like, yo, we ain't doing that. Like we have our little signal words where
Like
we
yeah,
just know
our
to
hand and arm signals,
like
certain communication styles.
certain communications that we're just back off, or we know like, yo, this isn't the time or the place,
Yeah,
and we respect it, and so now that we've managed those expectations, her and I and her, her and I and me and her, I know when and she knows when we're not talking about stuff or we are talking about stuff, and we set those boundaries and they're really clear. Our marriage and our businesses are both growing in a healthy way. Both growing in a healthy
yeah,
way.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, for me, like I said, it's just okay. I do need to sit down and clearly identify those because you even in my just because business now you're saying if you start as you start growing, which business? So who are my Fave Five in my real estate company? Who are my Fave Five in my coaching and consulting company? Who are my Fave Five in my family? Like this is a whole different. Some people may overlap, but you need to be intentional and understand who those people are. And this is where we're talking about community of not just the community that you're in, but recognizing okay, if we are going to go into relationship, what is the purpose of relationship? Because you only got so much bandwidth and so much energy to give people. So if I'm going to go in a relationship with you, like, yo, if you don't fit in any of these, like, what's the point? You, you can be in my outer circle, like we say, what's up? You can be my friend on social media. You can like my stuff. But outside of that, if you don't fit into any of these things that I got going on, I only got so much energy to give throughout the day. Most of it is reserved for the whole reason why I do this. So I can't just be letting anybody in. But if you don't know that and you're not aware of that, all of a sudden you've got all your information, all your energy going in multiple different directions. It's a word I used to use a lot in my career was omnidirectional. It's going everywhere at all speeds. It is everywhere. It's going in every direction, and you got nothing left for yourself or the things that actually mean something to you. And that's when you end up having people coming home from work, and I've got no time. I'm tired. I don't got time. I
burnt
don't got
out.
energy to play with my kids. Yeah, so it's like as much as we start talking about this inner circle, if you're not aware of it, the impact it can have on your life if you're not managing the relationships that really have no place in your life and in the roles that you fill.
And the energy you give it,
Yeah.
right? Because even the energy you give it doesn't even have to be like a long duration of time, but you can just give 30 minutes or an hour of your day, and that could just drain you for the rest of the day. And like you said, now you can't give your daughter your best, you can't give your clients your best, right? Like, so I think that's really important for our folks to recognize is not only who are you spending your time with, and I've always been big on I'm gonna match your work. Like I'm at a point
Yeah.
now in my life where like I'm gonna match your work. It doesn't mean like I'm gonna match you dollar for dollar or I'm gonna match you resource for resource, but there is gonna be a level of equal sacrifice that we're
Yeah.
both giving and we're mutually benefiting and we're both adding value to
Yeah.
what we're doing, regardless of whether or not like we're in the same industry or not. But the idea is like every time we get off the call or every time we get off the phone or connect, I'm actually gonna feel more energized. So like, truth be told, every time me and you get off a pot, I'm fired up. Like even though we poured our heart and soul into the pot, I'm like, all right, what are we doing next? Like, what's the next piece of stuff that I got to do so that I can bring more results to the table? And you're a huge part of that because you're like, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. Like you lay it all out there just naturally. That's who you are. And I'm like, all right, marching orders, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
And then I want you to just talk about this. One of the things I said, and if you could just like, yeah, just drop some knowledge on this is, which is I think is right up your alley. one takeaway that I had, another takeaway I had was in that Fab Five, it's really important that you have really good decision makers. Like each one of those fives are going to be good decision makers, meaning they aren't wanting the best for you. They're not going to try to set you up and set you up to fail, or they're not going to make decisions to get you temporary results, knowing that there's that, maybe you're getting set up for something else. So just if you could just share, right, what was your take? Because you make decisions like, I mean, you fire these things off left and right, and it's so natural for you. So for those who maybe aren't as quick a decision maker, or those who maybe don't have the confidence or the strategy to make the decisions, um, again, not about speed, but I mean, you are really great at that. What would you recommend for someone that's looking to build their Fab Five, or even just be in company of great decision makers? What are some things that you look for, and then what are some things that you personally do when it comes to decision making?
All right, when we talk about decision making, okay, like one, what am I looking for? And two, like when I'm making decisions, what am I looking at? We'll go with that. We'll go with that. As far as like just decision making, what I'm looking for is okay, why am I making a decision? And if you're not the one to make a decision, why do I need a decision made? So this comes down to clarity as far as you knowing why you're doing anything. Because we've probably discussed this, several times before. This is just something that I go over with my coaching clients. What you do can never be bigger than why you do it. If you know why you're moving the way you're moving, if you know why you need to make a decision, the decision you make, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but don't harp on it so much that you don't make one or you don't allow people to move. So if you aren't a good decision maker, surround yourself with people that not just make decisions, but they're making decisions for the betterment of you and the betterment of the community. So if you understand that that's what the role that they're filling, filling, get out of your feelings and let them make that decision. Because even if you're not comfortable with it and it puts you in a certain position emotionally, if they're in your Fab Five, they're making a decision for you to help you, even if you're uncomfortable with it. But they're there for a reason. So that's why it's like, understand who you're bringing in. Be conscious of who you're bringing and why you're bringing them in. You shouldn't have a bunch of people that are just emotional like you. Like, I don't need a bunch of people that are just truly facts driven like me. That's too much of anything is not good for you.
Yeah.
As far as when I move, I want to make sure that people understand that in my head, when we talk about speed, okay, speed in business wins. The first one there wins. I don't care if your product is better. If your product took you 5 years to make and it's 10, 20 times superior than what I am, by the time you have put it out, I've already got credibility. I've got a following. I've got a community of people
Yeah.
because I was first.
That's it.
So, I'm not saying that first is the most perfect product, but it is the one that is available most. So when you make a
It's that
decision,
Potter story. That Potter
yeah,
story. Remember the Potter story?
I mean, you could probably go into that. I
No, you
I'm
remember
just
we learned
making
about it.
stuff up.
So I know. No, remember. So
You
remember the Potter
you said
story
the
is
Potter store.
you got two potters. You got two people who are making pots. So person Potter number one or Potter A, he makes 100 pots, and they have like the same amount of time. Let's just say a week to make it.
Okay.
And then Potter B, he takes his whole week to make the one pot. So who comes out with the better pot?
The one that is available. I
The
mean,
the
you
one who
talk
made
about.
100, or the one who made one? Who do you think came out with the better pot at
I
the end
mean,
of the
did he
week?
make Did he make? I don't know. Did he make 100 and wait to release until he's done with 100, or
Nah,
did he
he
release
just kept
one?
going. He just kept going. He just kept
So
releasing
he
them.
wasn't selling them.
No, he wasn't selling them. They were like, okay, at
Oh,
the end of
okay,
the
yeah,
week, who could make the best pot?
yeah. Okay, yeah, the dude that made one.
No, the dude that made 100.
Bruh, I don't
Because
understand the question.
because what happened was he kept
I feel
getting
like
reps in.
context was missing from the story.
So the context is that they both had a week to make a pot. The best pot wins. So
Okay,
Potter A just kept making them. Messed up, made it
okay,
again. Messed up, made it again. So he made 100 pots throughout the whole
okay,
time. And the other Potter B, he was just designing, he was drawing, like he was taking his whole week to just plan and make the best design, but he only made one pot. So Potter A, the one who makes 100, had the better pot because he had the reps, and every time he made it better than the last, better than the last, better
Okay,
than
yeah,
the last. So just
that
like you
makes sense.
said, speed, getting out there, getting out. Look at our
Yeah.
podcast, episode 1, episode 2, right? We're just gonna get better and better versus the person who, and we know someone personally in our community who was like, man, I had that idea to do that same idea for the pod, but we got to the spot first. All love,
It's
right? Now,
time.
all love, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things where you got to just act on it again. But here's my question for you, though, decision maker. How do you know when people, so for example, if someone wanted to continue to be with you and rock with you,
Right.
how does someone who doesn't make decisions as quick or as good or as solid as sound as you, how can they add value to you in the relationship?
So this is how I look at it when that. So one is I like to create momentum. So movement turns into momentum, but you need sustainability. You need the resources. You need the. Let's just say I was running an ultra marathon. That was a thing at some point in my life. You need a support team to keep you going. You say a regular marathon. You got people along the way that provide a little bit of electrolytes, some bananas, some of those things. I can go and I can create the momentum, but unless I have the support and systems in place, I cannot last. So I like to say the pilot and an air traffic controller, movement into momentum, the ground crew and the air traffic controller, sustainability.
That's a word.
So yeah, so we're looking at, you got we've mentioned it several times, the African proverb, you want to go fast, go alone, you want to go far, go together. I kind of feel like you need both.
Yep.
Like we need to go and we need to go now, but let's get some systems and plans in place. So when I do go, when we want to continue to move, we can continue with that. But if we wait for everything to be perfect, bro, something's already got to the spot first.
There it
So,
is.
but I
Analysis
like to remind people,
paralysis.
hey, yeah, they're right there. Understand that not making a decision is in fact a decision. So when
Is
you
in
feel like
fact a
you feel,
decision.
you feel like I don't know if I want to do this, I don't know if I want to do that, and you kind of just sit there. Yo, that's a decision.
Yo, you
Yo,
done
you
5 decisions
made
your way out.
yeah. You decided why you shouldn't make a decision,
Oh
like,
man, 5, 10
but
times
you
you
not.
decided. You made 10 decisions not to make a decision. Come on. No, I love that. And
It's
so
like
let's circle back because again, Potter A, Potter B. My bad for those listening if you didn't get context because I'm
hey,
just
I didn't
flying
either.
right
Don't worry
now,
about it.
flying. But you said earlier, Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours.
Yeah,
Right. So in context, I'm feeling like there's a connection there. So break down if for those who haven't read Malcolm Gladwell's book, it was a tipping point or no outliers. So he wrote Tipping
it's
Point and
outliers.
Outliers. But
Yeah.
outliers, yeah. So just share what you were going to share on that 10,000 hours.
So we talking about what we're even in this group for, and I think a lot of part of it is like we want to encourage people to get into. I mean, specifically this community, but if you can't, yeah, that's fine. You're gonna rock with this one. We're gonna support the UOU Mastermind group. But so the 10,000 hours concept, I believe it's 40 hours a week, and if you were to do 40 hours a week of investing in something, become a master of something. That's the idea that you need to be a master, a skill. If you did 40 hours a week every single week, it takes you about 5.5 years to get to 10,000 hours. What we are doing is we are paying for someone else's 10,000 hours to get that in a matter of, I mean, even we want to say 1 year, but we're getting a multitude of 10,000 hours. So if you don't want to spend 5.5 years in one subject to master it, pay for somebody else's 10,000 hours. Don't get so caught up in, well, I can't do this because I'm not a master at it because I haven't spent 10,000 hours. Because people will do that. And it's a decision to be like, well, I can't do it because I'm not a master at it. I'm sorry, if you got 200 hours, you're ahead of that person who's only got 3.
Facts.
The
Facts.
decision to move in that capacity is there. But if you want to accelerate your results and your energy and your effort, pay for someone else's 10,000 hours. And that's what
Yeah,
we've done. We've paid for somebody else's 10,000 hours.
absolutely.
Eh,
And
yeah. So when you said that, I was like, yo, that's dope. Like, that's what we're doing. We paid for, I mean, not just one, but multitude. And it's probably more than 10,000. I mean, I know it's
yeah.
more than 10,000 hours. You
Oh, it's
said
way more.
he's been in the
It's
game for
way
30.
more.
Yeah. He's been in the game for 30 years. So if you say 10,000 hours every 5 years, yeah, we paying for his 60,000 hours. If I did that math correct. I don't believe in doing math in public. So if it's wrong, you can go ahead and drop it in the comments.
Drop it in the
But
comments. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my coaching advice to most people is never do math in public.
Mm. There you go. There you go. And here's the thing, right? And just to add on to that, like you just said, when we look at what we're investing in shortening the learning curve
Yeah.
because
Speed.
you can try to pull all the different parts and pieces off YouTube University. You can read all the different books and get all the information from all these different sources or even the same series or whatever. But what we have the access to is getting the information, applying it, seeing if it works or if it doesn't, and then going back to the source and saying, okay, it worked or it didn't work. What's next? And either way, you're
Yeah.
going to get a next step. So if it's working well, they're going to say, okay, here's what you got to do next. If it's not working well, they're going to say, okay, here's what you got to do next. And that's what you're not getting on YouTube. That's what you're not getting in books. And just to kind of share a real life example outside of the mastermind, when I think about 10,000 hours, is so I do social emotion learning workshops. Been doing it for 9 years, mostly elementary schools. Along with that, facilitating workshops for teachers, for parents. Matter of fact, I have two workshops right after we record this pod. I'll be doing virtual workshops with two groups of teachers in California. But when I look at how I got into the SEL space, so my background is in adult mental health. I was a psychiatric technician for 11 years, medications, treatments, groups at Napa State Hospital. So I got licensed through there. During that time, I found or the nonprofit, a friend of mine recommended me to join this nonprofit to be a facilitator at elementary schools. I was like, okay, well, I have a mental health background. Let me see what this is all about. And so for 9 years, again, no additional like degrees, no psychology degree, no counseling degree, nothing was required for me to facilitate these workshops. But because the co-founders and the organization itself has all the credentials, I mean, they've been in the game since 2000 or 1999, and I came in 9 years ago. But because of their credibility, I was able to get in the door, learn the game, facilitate, connect, and use that on my resume, use that as my receipts, and then opened up a whole nother chapter into the faith-based space, bringing these same tools, bringing the same message, but
Yeah.
curated for a specific audience. So I, again, leveraging their 10,000 hours to create my own 10,000 hours
Yeah.
because of a decision. I
Yep.
could have easily been like, oh, you know what? I don't got a psychology degree. I'm not a counselor. And again, not to say that those are bad things because I think it's great. It's a great credential. But did I need it to get started? No,
No. Nope.
not at all.
Nope. Nope.
So, our question for our audience: what's holding you back? I'm a quote Ray. This is Ray's favorite saying, or at least it's what I hear you say all the time. It's out there. Go get it. You always say
Yeah.
that. It's out there. Go
Yeah.
get it.
Go. Yeah.
It
I mean, again, that's a decision. Go get it.
it's out there. Go get it. That's
Like, go
that's
get it.
that's that's Ray's shirt, man. It's out there. Go get it. We're gonna figure that out
Yeah.
because
Go get it.
every time you say it, it's out there. Just go get it. Just go get it. So with that, y'all, again, homework. All right. Call to action. Here's your homework. Make 3 circles, 4 circles, put you in the middle. Write down who are your five, whether it's business or personal. Write down who are your allies, which are maybe connection makers, people who can open doors for you, people who will give you real feedback, and then your 150 cheerleaders or not, or acquaintances,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
people that want your time, right? Like again, evaluate those circles, figure out what's going to help you move the needle and get results. All right, pick one result, and we're going to recommend a result that's going to move the needle financially, career wise. That's going to reposition you to move up in whatever you're doing. I'm not talking about results as in all want a better relationship, which is what we talk about as well on the pod, which is important. but we know that when you start seeing results in your careers, in your businesses, when you start seeing results in your bank account, when you start seeing results in your resources, it hits different. It hits different. So, Ray, final thoughts, take us away for episode number 10, y'all. DS. We in double
Jeez. Oh
digits.
yeah. It's
Double digits.
episode 10, and we just gonna. Hey, this one's got to be 10,000 hours.
Mm,
Episode 10, 10,000 hours.
come on.
We
Come
put
on.
10 parentheses 1,000 hours. Nah. Hey, yeah. Like I said, so at the center of those circles, okay, you, your Fave Five, your allies, and then your outer circle. The center of all that is you. Who you are is who you attract. So the energy that you are putting out is who you're going to attract. So if you're wondering why your Fab Five is, oof, oh, me and Daniel, they're parasites. If your Fab Five are parasites, that's because you're always focused on like what you can get from people. So I say the center, we say the center of all that is you. But if you're wondering why the people that are close to you just want something from you, that's because you also a parasite. So when you go from a space of me, and I tell this to my coaching clients, if you want to give more, you have to become more. And we probably said that several different times. The only way you become more is to invest in yourself so that you can give more to others.
Yeah.
So when you are selfless with the development of you, what pours from your cup is also selfless love, and it's a demonstration. So when you see those people that are close to you and they're a certain way, take a look here first.
Come on.
After you see them, you see that they're parasites. Take a look at yourself. If you're always asking about what about me, if you're going to church and you're like, well, I didn't get nothing from church, so I'm not going back.
Come on.
If you go to a conference and you're like, well, I don't know why y'all go to this, no one talked to me. Okay. Okay. So at the end of the day, 10,000 hours. If you don't
10,000
have
hours.
it, glean from somebody else's. If you want to accelerate that, hire yourself a coach. Join the UOU Mastermind. www.breakinformation.com. Shameless plug. Rhy is also a coach.
No. Never shameless, bro.
Yeah.
These are options.
Oh,
These are
no.
different kinds. Finding the right coach. Finding
Yeah,
the
no, I
right
said
coach.
shameless. I have no shame in giving this to you.
Yeah.
What CJ said. CJ said, I know I'm sweet.
Hey, he knows
Hey, I
he's
know
sweet.
I'm sweet.
Hey, we
Yeah.
do. And again, as we're recording this video, as we're in this process, y'all, and we're gonna be like, yo, go to episode 10, 10,000, just to show y'all like where and why, where we came from, why we are going the way we're going. And like you said, if you made 10 decisions to make no decision, you wasting energy. You wasting energy.
You
Straight
good
up.
at making decisions. You just you're making them backwards.
You making it backwards. You going in reverse, bruh.
You took it out of you took it out of park. You like should I go
man.
here? You took it out of park and hit reverse.
Oh
Hey,
man.
you
All
got to
right, y'all.
keep.
Listen, for our little, we love y'all for reals. We truly, truly love y'all. We are just in the spirit right now of, again, coming off of phenomenal life, coming off of the continued relationships that we're growing and we're building. And I think for me anyways, it's comical because we see ourselves and where we used to be and how we used to be
Yeah.
stuck. And it's just like we laughing at ourselves, like, man, come on, it didn't have to
Yeah,
be
this
that
this
deep.
isn't about anybody specifically. This is me taking, and both of us are there in Chicago at 120. Rory Vaden's statement: "You were most perfectly and powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were." I'm letting you know, Ray was a parasite at one point. I was a parasite at one point. So when I say it and we tell you this road to results, we are telling you the road that we have gone through to get to the point where we're experiencing the results that we're experiencing.
Come on.
So,
That's it, yo. That's it. Definitely. So again, thank y'all
but
for
we got some work to do
share
after this.
Yeah, share the podcast, like the podcast, comment, give us some reviews. Again, all of it is much appreciated. Drop some comments or questions. Do you have topics you want us to speak on if there's anything? But otherwise, we're going to keep dropping gems. We're going to keep dropping these gems that we get from the UOU Mastermind specifically. And then, of course, we share a little bit of our lives and other things we got going on with that. So all that being said, as we always say, don't just go with us, y'all. Grow with us.
Grow with us.
Grow with
that
us,
was for
yes.
Danielle.
That was
Danielle
for
yelled us because last week we was like, don't just go grow with us. Man, My bad. My
My
bad,
bad.
Danielle.
Grow with us,
Hey,
y'all. We getting there.
grow with us. G R
Grow with
O
us.
W
Come
with
on.
us.
With us.
With
Let's go.
us.
All right, fam. We out of
Grow.
here.
All
Peace.
right, bro. Peace.
Go on.